Carried, thank you. Okay, so we're now into the agenda. We're on item 8, and the Māngere o Tahuhu Local Board have asked to speak to this item, so I'd like to welcome our chair, Le Maunga, Lydia Sosene, and Nick, or not? No? Okay. So, welcome Lydia, and the next 5 minutes is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We do have a presentation, a very quick presentation with a couple of slides. The member is around somewhere, so I'll just start, given the time restraints. Thank you, governing body, for your time this morning. And what I want to talk about very quickly is the Māngere o Tahuhu Local Board feedback, increasing Aucklanders' participation in sport for the investment plan. So we as a board support the principle, Sally. We as a board support the draft in principle, increasing Aucklanders' participation in sport for the facilities that meet diverse needs, where everyone thrives and belongs. However, there are 13 local parks in the Māngere o Tahuhu Local Board with playgrounds that are not up to standard and that are in poor condition, according to the measures of Auckland Council. And our request is that there's improvement for these playgrounds, and we actually call that there's a greater appreciation and understanding to rectify the minimal investment in the southern local board areas, so that these areas are in par with the rest of the region before the investment plan is implemented. We support that there is also an increased understanding for Māori participation in terms of Māori organisations actively supported to identify the opportunities for increasing active participation by Māori in sport and recreation, to really look at improving health and wellbeing. To our Māori principles to be included in this policy as a thriving Māori identity is Auckland's point of difference in the world. And we support promotion of Māori traditional games and sports that facilities would deliver these two things at dedicated sports grounds. So in Māngere o Tahuhu, we have Centre Park, and Papatuanuku Marae is right next to it, and that if they are brought up to speed, that they are available for the sports and games.
Is it going?
So just our second slide, we have 3 focus areas that we really quickly want to highlight to governing body today. The first is the focus areas in targeting for this plan and targeting communities of greatest need to address the disparities. In our area, there is a high number of Pasifika youth who are not involved in sports and healthy activities and are prone to a number of health issues such as obesity, and that more investment is required to mitigate these risk factors through different sports activities and programs, and using different approaches, platforms and networks to identify and encourage the participation. We have a number of local clubs that need quality training and competition amenities, just for simple basic floodlights, playing fields, installation of sand carpets. So there's quite a variable network in Māngere o Tahuhu, and because we have such just under 50%, probably sitting at about 49%, we have a huge percentage of youth in our community. The codes of rugby union, rugby league are traditionally played in our local area, with the second largest club in Auckland, Māngere East Hawks. It's in the local area of Māngere o Tahuhu. And due to some of the amenities, some of the codes have got falling numbers. And that is outside clubs' control. What we're asking is that Auckland Council develops an alternative way, because not everyone wants to play sport. Yes, they will go along to support tamariki e rangatahi and young people. However, we have a big group of senior citizens and people with impairments due to their life stages or their own conditions. And we ask that unstructured forms of physical activities who may not be associated with the sports clubs is also considered in the implementation of the plan. Auckland Council, we had a local board, had a local play assessment and needs analysis, and appreciate that there are a number of policy documents that are available to align and to give a truer reflection of an area like Mangere o Tāhuhu. The second focus that we have that in our plea today is that Auckland Council would strongly consider delivery of a broad range of programs, services and facilities that respond to diverse needs of Auckland communities. And in a very diverse area like ours, 60% of our population of around 80,000 Pasifika, we have a population just under 20% of Māori, and then ethnic and the rest. It is important to highlight that due to the deprivation index, what that signals in our area, that rebates towards clubs can include and maintain locals from our local board area. Just very quickly, our last area, we wanted to focus on the population growth. So Mangere is the nexus between CBD and Auckland Airport. And so with the growth of just under 10,000 homes coming into the area, a large part of that is social housing, we would strongly urge Auckland Council would consider that all of these factors in the next decade and the next 2 decades are considered. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Now, I know we've got a question from Councillor Newman. I just want to signal when we get to the item, Councillor Philippina and I have been working on the issue that you've raised, which is the alignment and the equity issue. So we've got a recommendation from Councillor Philippina to engage with the Mangere o Tāhuhu local board on the implementation of increasing Aucklanders' participation in sport to meet the diverse needs, etc., etc. So we'll discuss that in the item, but just to say we've taken that on board and acknowledged the special case of the board. So quick questions from Councillor Newman and Councillor Simpson.
Probably not now, Chair, if that's been picked up by Alf and you, because I've got a similar for the Monday Labour Ollie. So if this is what's going to happen, then that's great, and I'll wait for your amendment.
Cool. Awesome. Councillor Simpson.
Thank you very much. My question is around your playgrounds. You said that your playgrounds were very much behind Auckland Council standard. Now, my question to you is that playgrounds are obviously under the auspices of a local board delegation. If they were such a priority and they are so far behind, why hasn't the local board prioritised the upgrades of those playgrounds before now?
Thank you, Councillor, for the question. I can assure you that the local board has prioritised playgrounds, because it actually, analysis was done in last term as well as this term. What we are hampered with is different processes of Auckland Council. So we have a number of officers who come and report on a regular basis to the local board. We have prioritised the investment that we have, but we still get a number of complaints from our locals, i.e. Mangere Bridge, Mangere East or Tāhuhu, of our communities that say, yes, the local board has put forward and prioritised this issue in our local area, but we want the same parks that are delivered in the central area and the North Shore area, rather than to have to drive out to those parks. That's the standard that we want in our local area. So yes, we are putting investment, but it's just not enough.
So I just want to, this is really important, because I suppose for me, you know, when I was chair of a local board, we prioritised playgrounds and we put a lot of money in, and we didn't do necessarily like for like, it was like plus plus, 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 right? So it was a priority. So are you saying that you have, in your local board plan and your funding of your LDI, for example, you've prioritised these playground upgrades, but council has hindered you by its process. Is that correct?
Thank you, Councillor. Very good question. We have a number of concept plans that we're still waiting on some action. And when I say waiting, we've been waiting in some cases 3 to 5 years. Delivery is very, very slow. And also the fact that, what is happening in some of our spaces around units and offices, things appear and then they disappear. And that is a very big challenge for our ward, is that we don't see things like the upgrade of playground furniture that are exciting and would invite families into our ward's playgrounds.
And can I just add on, in terms of the procurement processes of council, can I just say, when we have a conversation, I'll just give you a very general, we have a conversation with officers maybe 18 months previous, they come back to us, the cost of the market has increased, there is a change in the procurement process, and just factors that then hamper and delay the process. So whilst we're keen for delivery implementation, and the local board have made a decision in a meeting, when it comes to processes, delay after delay or something is changed, that impacts on the delivery and implementation.
Help to you is not necessarily money, but it's implementation and process change.
So can I just jump in, because this is to one side, it's critical to the local board, but the playground strategy is not part of this agenda item. So we've just been having a quick chat with the staff and with Koro to say, how do we pick that up as well? Because I think this has been an ongoing issue for some of our southern boards, and I know for me, before I go, it's something I want to see us deal with much more effectively. So sorry to cut through, but we need to do that separately. Councillor Clow.
Progress on improved access to Walter Massey Park, is that happening? That was your Ollie, improve access to Walter Massey Park. Is that progressing at a satisfactory pace?
Thank you for your question, Councillor. You may not recall, but we came back to the governing body to inform that we wouldn't be going with option A. We're going for a reassessment option B. And we hear from the officers today in our workshop regarding the Ollie. So that'll be happening. That conversation will be happening this afternoon.
Would you like to move the vote of acknowledgement? Thank our local board. I'm happy to second that. All those in favour, please say aye.
Thank you.
Carried. Thank you both. And just to say, before it feels like we've moved on to another item, we will absolutely follow up with urgency the playground issue